Before anyone else, toys become a child's best friend. And when we think of gifting something to the young ones in our family, plush toys are the first things that comes to our mind, right? But have you ever wondered what these toys are frequently packed with? Synthetic fibers predominate. They are extremely harmful to the environment. However, one Indian company is attempting to shift the narrative. Delhi NCR based moditoys aims to help people of all ages stay connected to their Indian roots through our modern toys and books, which are inspired by Hindu culture through their sustainable yet amazing plush toys. Hello everyone, this is Priyanshu Chaudhary for SME Futures, and today we have with us the founder of moditoys, Mr. Viral Modi, where we will interact with him and learn more about moditoys. A very warm welcome to you, Mr. Viral.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so I think the first thing we would want to know is what was that one incident or that moment that inspired you to start moditoys? And can you maybe share the story behind its inception and how do you envision it?
So it was very simple. It came about in January of 2017, to be very specific. So my daughter was about to be born. My wife was going to deliver. And one of the things that as you become a father, you kind of start thinking about more serious things in life. So one of the things that I wanted to do was pass on our cultural heritage. So living in US, so just going a little bit back further, I moved to US with my family in 1992. So it was almost about 25 years we had been here. And what ended up happening is that we became very much Americanized. My parents are very religious. Thankfully, and they tried very hard to pass on their culture, all those things that, are foreign when you're away from India, my parents worry about. So we basically started having this discussion is how come we don't have that much representation in the toy aisle when it comes to our toys, and especially, cultural toys, be it Barbie, whatever. I wanted to give my daughter not a teddy bear, but our cultural toy that would be singing mantras. And it was a very simple. So I just started looking and I thought I would find it. We couldn't find it, surprisingly, shockingly. So I just made up my mind that this is something we are going to do because I think people are going to appreciate it.
I talk about the challenges, that you initially had to face during the launch or your operations of moditoys. What are the major things that come up to your mind?
I think it was just that, so we were creating something that did not exist before. So sad to say that, we have over 1 billion population, and we are very religious. India is known as one of the most religious countries in the world. And despite that no one thought about, creating this segment, which would be ideal for kids to connect to. Because one of the things that we also noticed in our upbringing is that when we were kids, we didn't really have anything that connected us to our roots. But one of the biggest challenges was to make sure that we can at least start, getting people comfortable with the idea, because since God is revered, putting it into a toy form might be something that people would be worried about. So we had that in the back of our mind. So we launched our moditoys website. So moditoys was suggested by my mom, since our last name. So she kind of suggested it. I checked if the URL was available and I bought it right there and there. So that was another reason we just kind of created the website really early, and then we started sharing the updates. So it was not doing we did our own funding. So we were not crowdfunding, but we were basically, kind of gathering crowd responses to see how they would feel on, if there was an initial prototype sketch, we would put it up. If there was like a mantra that we were to choose, we would include the recording.
Well, if I have to ask you about the themes and designs which you have for your toys, I feel they're pretty unique, concept that is not really heard ever before. So what are the factors that actually influence these important decision-making processes?
I think the most important thing is that it needs to be child-friendly. So one of the things, like I mentioned, one of the first questions we would ask our kids is, whenever we do prototype or designing, we would ask them, is this cute? basically we would start testing it to make sure that they like the design. And if they liked it, that we knew that, we wanted to find an intersection. Then the next step is we also wanted to make sure that the parents would also like it because they're going to be the primary consumers for the kids. But we wanted to create a toy that still kids can bond with, and then eventually as they learn her story, they can appreciate it even more.
Okay, so if I have to ask you about the USP, perhaps what is that one factor that sets moditoys apart from other toys company, maybe in terms of quality or innovation, anything that comes up to your mind?
I think USP was that. So we were one of the first, I think we were the first ones to make toys, plush toys that had mantras in them. So that was the other part. I think this is kind of connected to the last question as well. We wanted to make toys that were really upbeat. So for example, when Ganesh mantra comes on, it just says high energy in kids' voice, says Ganpati Bappa Moria. It kind of excites everybody. It could be kids, it could be adults. So, and every time we only do one simple thing. If somebody comes up and they wonder what this is, so we just play the toy and they really smile. They really get excited because they have not seen something like this before and they really want to give to their kids. And I think one of the segments that we were not expecting and we were not really designing for is grandparents. Grandparents they have formed an attachment, personal attachment. They're like, they did not have something like this when they grew up. And this we kind of keep hearing constantly. That actually has about an hour plus worth of our artis, mantras, and instrument, just like a single guitar or piano or flute, single instrument, and they're just playing for an hour. So it's a very soothing feeling. One of the USPs now of our toys is that every one of our toys, so our smallest toy, when you're purchasing it, you're saving 6 plastic bottles from going to the ocean.
Okay, so now that you have been in the toy market for quite a while now, what is the current trend that you observe in the toy market, and how do you like guys also try to match up with the things that are trending in the toy market?
Yes and no. So I think what we try not to do is we try to take less beaten paths. What I mean by that is we want to go in the area where there will be less resistance. Was that during the pandemic, what we came up with was we started personalizing toys. So we can now personalize our toys with any name, like obviously in English, but in any language. And we can also have pictures on them if you want.
All right. So because we were talking about how you envision of creating this amazing bond with the customers. So if I have to ask you like about the most rewarding aspect of running moditoys so far, and how has the response from the customers been?
So I think this is something, so we launched in August of 2018. And luckily, because of we had a sizable email list. So what we did was we had about our original orders that we got from our manufacturer was very limited. Capacity was not that many. But we just thought, like, let's say 1,000 units, it's going to take us about 6 months to sell off, or maybe maximum a year. We sold out in 2 weeks. And that's a response that we were not expecting. November, which is a Thanksgiving, it's like a holiday season for US. And we got a really frantic call from a lady whose daughter-in-law, I think daughter-in-law was in an accident and she was pregnant. So she was in hospital and she was in emergency room and she was going for surgery. So she basically just told us that, my daughter-in-law and my grandson are both struggling and they might be fighting for their lives. She wanted to buy our toy to put that in the hospital. So that kind of gave us, that's when we kind of felt the weight of what we had created, is that this is not just a toy, but for some people it becomes a symbol of hope.
Well, if I have to ask you about any upcoming projects or maybe a product that you're particularly very excited about, or any new toys launching any soon.
I want to be careful in saying that. So what we're doing is we are taking a different approach because, like I said, I'm one of those people who doesn't like to say things, but let's just say it's exciting. We are creating, we're not just focusing on building out more toys in this plush, but we're also taking a different approach, which we're going to let people know very soon. So there are 2 different versions we're coming up with that I think our customers will respond very well to. We are very excited about building our content. So we have our YouTube channel. which I'm glad to say is completely free. So what we have done is, for example, we have 7 books that we have currently in publication, which is all written by my sister. So all those books, we have created a video version of them, and we have posted that on our channel.
To ask you, being a stakeholder in the toy industry, how do you feel the sector is doing specifically in India, and how do you foresee the future of the toy market here in India?
It's actually growing very fast, and I think it's very bright, especially in India. So one of the things that I think as a whole, the toy market is expected to grow at about, about 5 to 7%. And I think the India share is pretty small, but it's about like around $1 billion, but it's expected to grow at a 10 to 12% rate over the time. And one of the things that doesn't factor into this category that's growing, and I think this is again, I think that within 10 years, we will be seeing that our toys will become very commonplace. One of the things that I'm trying to do is also diversify the actual toy space on actual toy stores. So when I go to Hamleys, one of the things that does bug me is that our toys are not represented. Like I said, it's not moditoys, it's our cultural toys. So what I meant is like something that has been designed by Indians, made by Indians, and specifically for Indians. So that's what I want to really make sure that happens.
Viral, thank you so much. It was a great time having you here, and we really had some valuable insights about Modi Toys. And yes, SME Futures wishes you and the whole team of Modi Toys all the very best for all of your future launches and all of the ventures that you are planning to come up with. And yes, we would definitely want to stand in support of Modi Toys to see how it represents the Indian culture at a global level. So yes, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.